According to the workshop participants, this is you. Okay, so you might recognize some of your ideas here. I just classified them. Some concepts were IID as outcomes, innovation for inclusive development as outcomes. One said improved quality of life of people and environment, meaning sustainable development. These are parts of it. Somebody said equal fair distribution of development outcomes. And the most succinct is, the last one says, innovation for all by all. Okay. Now, IID as outputs, this is where somebody said new products, processes, services, models produced for and by marginalized groups with positive impact on their lives. Second, new frameworks, methodologies, metrics for studying informal sector innovations. Third, mechanisms for providing people unreached by development with more opportunities for participation in and access to social, political, technological, economic systems. Academics really have a very good way of putting words together, right? It's their expertise. Less formal systems of innovation that is non-linear and based on traditional tacit knowledge, right? That is ideas outputs. This is ideas process. User-driven, led innovation that recognizes the role of marginalized groups in the process of innovation, policy development, decision-making, and institutionalization. Multi-stakeholder, multi-level, multi-sectoral participation, and collective, systematic action in decision-making and implementation. Then, integrating local knowledge, approaches, and technology blending in development planning and processes to be more responsive to local needs and populations. Developing, adapting, diffusing knowledge and technologies that are value-adding to society holistically. And promoting democratic values in economic and social systems processes. I mean, it's the spirit that should imbue these systems. Okay, so that's how we put together. I mean, this group looks at IID from their own conception, and it's not so far from what IDRC has given us, except that it is more nuanced. Now, what are the roles that universities and research councils play in IID? We also have some views here. We have, we call this, we had an intern go through this material and assemble it for us. But from Malaysia, disseminate knowledge on rural communities and poverty issues. Okay? I mean, they're talking about their experience in Malaysia. They say minor role in mission-oriented inclusive development activities. I mean, it's not a big, it's not a big focal point. They provide tertiary education to rural communities. That's one of the contributions. They have open and distance learning, ODL, for working people. They have programs for resource-based sectors. They have student community service programs. And they have community colleges that have an upfront role in rural development, public universities and higher education for sustainable development. They have a lot of things going for inclusive development, but as to whether they are innovative in the sense that we understand it, that's something else. That's maybe a very small subset. Philippines, inclusive development, but not innovation is an explicit mission. I mean, inclusive development, yes, but not innovation. Some universities incubate innovation for outside clients at primarily classroom levels only. Okay? Colleges, departments, and professor-led societal development initiatives, yes, but at the lower level, not university-wide. And non-Manila universities, like UP Los Baños, are more ID engaged, but their initiatives are low scale. I mean, they're demonstrative and pilot. In Vietnam, they have innovation incubators, technology product creation in laboratories funded by government. They work for both economic benefits and social services for farmers and communities through research and outreach activities. But concept of IID is not in the curriculum, and there is lack of conscious and concerted IID efforts. In Thailand, different universities engage in IID in different ways at different levels. Okay, so you have these 5 types. Patarapong gave us this lecture on this hierarchy when we visited him. In fact, he said, comprehensive university, they are not involved in inclusive development directly. They are trying to solve problems for the future. They are not solving problems of food on the table. Anyway, so you have comprehensive universities, science specialized universities, Rajabat universities, and community colleges, Rajamongala universities. So you have 5 of these, and they are providing contributions to IID at different levels. But the community colleges are the ones that build skills needed by local communities, which are formally curricula. Anyway, but the idea is different universities have different ways of doing it. By the way, one point that we had was that it's not the entire university, but specific colleges that are oriented towards inclusive development. Colleges of social work, for instance, right? But engineering, maybe innovation for firms. So there are different, and maybe even faculty members, your discipline might dictate whether you will be for inclusive development or not. But the innovation is on the other side. It's in the engineering department. In India, courses on innovation, inclusive business, and entrepreneurship at the master's level. So, of all of these countries, they seem to have the more advanced situation. They have competitions for students, product and prototype building, enterprise development. They encourage young students, young faculty and staff to engage with local communities to solve real-world problems and seek social relevance to what it is being taught in the university. But India is such a big social laboratory anyway, so they should have a lot more initiatives. Next. I can see you're tracking. No, it's already screensaver. Okay, I have 30 minutes. Role of research councils in IID. In India, critical innovations take place well outside the formal system. And mention is given of Anil Gupta, who claims documentation of over 100,000 innovations. Only recent connection between innovation and development. So they're saying that's a recent link. Innovation and entrepreneurship, they have done this. It is promoted widely by the government. Research centers work closely with constituents in identifying problems. And however, solutions seldom reach the marketplace. Okay. In Malaysia, research councils, and we have mentions of NSRC, National Innovation Council, they consolidate science, technology, and innovation as well as information technology inputs from various government organizations, industries. Part of the STI strategic thrust of the country. Research institutes, especially those closely working on the development of agriculture, plantations, and forestry, are more directly contributing to IID. So they have some orientation towards IID there. In the Philippines, the research agenda of the National Research Council of the Philippines focuses on technology-based research for poverty alleviation. Innovations seldom are applied and commercialized to generate economic and widespread social benefits. So it's it does not reach the tipping point, right? However, NGOs and academia are actively initiating IID or IID-oriented research. Thailand, local organizations and government institutes initiate packets of innovation in livelihood-related areas, including products, processes, services, and organizational forms. Now, notable IID-related initiatives involving universities. Of course, Dewan Riset Nasional, they are trying to insert IID-related priorities in the national research agenda. And I think that's what we really want to happen, right? That the research councils put in IID and IID-related priorities into the national research agenda. Also, the midterm national development plan, maybe even the strategic plans or even the operational plans of government. And they have an open method of research coordination, OMRC, which is a mechanism for interactive database application. Maybe we should also look at that because it's really how to include people in a sharing scheme for data. In Malaysia, they have MDG-oriented councils. And for instance, Council for Indigenous People. So they are tied to this global effort to do the MDGs. Also, Federal Land Development Authority, the FELDA, we've heard about this even as early as the 1950s. So it continues to do work for landless people. They also have the National Council of Women's Organizations and National Advisory Council on the Integration of Women in Development. Also, Water Resources Council. So they have a lot of councils. So it's not only one council. They have different multiple councils, very focused on specific areas of development. And maybe they are also incubators of technology. In the Philippines, in Ateneo, they have low-cost water purifying system. They try to do innovations for social protection.